Hello, citizens of Gotham. My name is Graham Elwood, and you are watching Boom, the Political Vigilante, where we've been censored on the show. We have been demonetized by YouTube since February 1st, 2021, so over 2 years. I've had Instagram ads promoting my new comedy special, Manifested, which is available at grahamelwood.com. Rejected for being too political. And the censorship that I've received, my co-host on Government Secrets Lee Camp has been censored a lot, is nothing compared to what's happened to Julian Assange. And I'm really tired of living in a country that bangs this drum about democracy and press freedom when it's critical of like China or Russia. And then we have Julian Assange in prison. And this hypocrisy is not limited to vegan surfing YouTube comedians such as myself, but also the new president of Brazil. So Lula was the president of Brazil on several occasions, and then they put him in jail because he's a real lefty. That's what happens when you're a real progressive lefty and you threaten the powerful. They put you in prison, but he came out and he beat Bolsonaro, who's another crybaby loser hiding in Miami. I didn't lose. Yeah, you did. He had crybaby fans, and they tried to do a January 6th thing, and you lost. You lost. You're a loser. You're lost, Bolsonaro. So when asked recently, and this interview just happened like a day or two ago, Lula is trying to broker peace in Ukraine with Russia and Ukraine. He's visited China. He's opening up trade to China. He is part of BRICS, which is the Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. And they've said they're done with the US dollar. And so BRICS is kind of done with the US dollar. They're done with America's empire, flexing its muscles, and then pounding its chest about freedom and justice and democracy. And yet Julian Assange is behind bars. It is the biggest glaring piece of hypocrisy. And Lula is going to say what's on his mind. This is why I like this guy. This is why I'm glad when they got him out of prison and he ran. I was like, if he runs, he's going to win. And he did. So this is the interview. It's in Portuguese, but there's going to be English subtitles, and I'll read along with you so you understand what's going on. But he calls out in no uncertain terms. Listen to this. Imagine if we had a leader like this in America. Imagine what this would be like. So this is a Brazilian journalist asking him this question. You want a hybrid war, and you are fully aware that freedom of expression and the right to know is threatened globally. She just mentioned Julian Assange. Well, I just need to point this out real quick. Did you notice? So I'm using YouTube subtitles. When she mentioned Julian Assange, the English subtitles didn't work. No, maybe it's a tech thing, but don't you find that interesting? When you heard her say Julian Assange, she said it with the Brazilian accent. So she's asking what with Julian Assange, what do you think about this? That's what she asked in Portuguese. And the English subtitles on YouTube just happened to not work when she mentioned Julian Assange's name. Interesting. And he says, bless you for asking this question. That's why Lula's great. Because I think it's a shame. I'm going to speak even in front of the journalist because that goes for you and it goes for me. It's a shame that a journalist who denounced the fraud of one state against the others is arrested and condemned to die in jail. And we do nothing to free it. Is a crazy thing for people who fight and talk about freedom of expression, the right to scream properly. That is the guy is in prison because he denounced fraud. And the company does not move in defense of this journalist. I honestly can't understand. I can't understand. I even apologize because when I arrive in Brazil, I'm going to call the prime minister because it was a subject that I forgot to talk to him about, and I already sent it published letters. But I think it takes a movement of the world, company in his defense. But in his defense as a person, he is in defense of freedom to denounce The guy, he didn't denounce anything vulgar. The guy, there was a show that one state was watching, the others, and that became a crime against the journalist. And the company, he defends freedom of the press, doesn't make the movement to free this citizen. It's sad. It's sad, but it's true. It's true. We need to put our theories into practice from time to time so that we can continue talking about freedom of expression. He was just in England and talked and forgot to bring it up. And when he's going to say he's going to bring the prime minister, but there's videos of Lula from last year, from a year, talking about, he's been very vocal about Julian Assange being free. Now, I know that the translation, using the translation app with YouTube, but you got his point. And he talks very passionately about this. He's like, I don't understand. Y no entiendo, he kept saying. I cannot understand. I don't understand this. It doesn't make any sense. Yes, he's right. It does not make any sense. America can't sit there and espouse freedom of press and then have Julian Assange dying in Belmarsh prison and wanting to extradite him to this country to stand trial. It is the biggest hypocrisy ever. And this is why the Democratic Party is not going to allow Robert Kennedy Jr., RFK Jr., and Marianne Williamson to debate Joe Biden. They won't have open debates. This is our big democracy. We don't want to have a debate. I would debate, if I was running for president, I would say I would debate anybody because I know my views are right. I know I'll beat you. I know my positions are the majority of the country would agree with me. And the people that don't agree with me, fine, I got nothing to hide. What does it say? It's like a team saying we want to be the champion, but we don't want to play all the other teams. We just want to play the bad teams. We just want to play the lower teams. We don't want to play the best teams. Like the NBA's in the playoffs right now, right? I follow the NBA. It'd be like, can we play the teams that didn't make the playoffs? Can we play the bad teams? No, you should want to, if you think your platform and your views and your policies are superior, then you should be like, yeah, I'll debate anybody, anywhere, anytime, any place. That's what I would do if I was running for president. And if I was president, I would have a 90% approval rating. I know I would, because you'd have free healthcare. We'd have student debt forgiveness. We'd be on Bitcoin. I'd be locking up prisoners like Bukele. We would all be working on a Green New Deal. And every American's life would be better because I was president. So I'd be like, yeah, bring whatever slack-jawed corporate sellout you want to debate me. I'll take them to the rack, man. I'll whoop your ass. I wouldn't say, oh, we're going to limit the debates. What are you afraid of, Joe Biden? You're afraid of people calling you out for the horrible president with the lowest approval rating. You have a lower approval rating than Trump had, than Bush had. Bush had a horrible approval rating. How is that possible? So free Julian Assange, everybody. And when other leaders of Brazil is an emerging economy, Brazil, and the fact that they've joined BRICS, and mark my word, what's happening in El Salvador with Bitcoin, I said this when it happened 2 years ago. I go, El Salvador will be the first domino to fall. And you better believe Lula has at least had conversations with his cabinet about, hey, maybe we should do Bitcoin. I mean, look what's going on in El Salvador. The crime rate's done. The people are out of poverty, because Brazil has a big disparity, worse than America with the wealthy and everybody else, the haves and the have-nots. They have a big disparity. So I applaud Lula. E muito gusto, Lula. Eu quero Lula para meu presidente em Estados Unidos. E quero freedom para Julian Assange. Muito gusto, muito obrigado para Lula fala sobre Julian Assange. Muito obrigado. So I just said, I wish Lula was the president of the United States. I wish we had a president like Lula. And I give him a lot of credit for speaking on about this. That's in my broken Portuguese. So mass incarceration, yes, I would do what Bukele has rounded up all of the drug cartels. They had a horrible, horrible violence, awful violence. People committing horrible acts of violence. I mean, it was brutal. So anyone committing horrible acts of violence, sorry. Regular people would get free healthcare. They'd get student debt forgiveness. I would release people that were in prison for smoking weed. You're a violent criminal, though. You're in a gang. You're in an organized crime. I'd lock that up. And Julian Assange would be free if I was president. Edward Snowden, Chelsea Manning would all be able to walk freely in this country and take high-speed rail coast to coast and have solar panels on their homes in this country. That's what I would do. So that's what I would do. Thank you for watching the show, folks. I'm in Arizona this week, a little Arizona tour. Phoenix, May 11th, Tucson, May 12th. These are cool little 100-seat venues at Stir Crazy Comedy Club in Phoenix, Arizona, and the Screening Room in downtown Tucson. Go to GrahamElwood.com for tour dates. Tickets are going fast. We'd love to see you at a show. Also, sign up for my newsletter, because if you're on my emailing list, I have direct access to you. When social media can be throttled and whatever else. So the bigger the email list I have, the more citizens of Gotham like you that I can be in contact with. I send you like one email a month, and put your zip code in there so I know where you're living. So when I'm coming to your town, I can say, hey, show's coming to your town. And there's a free smoothie recipe. And there's merchandise at the website, and the P.O. box. A lot of ways to support the show because we've been demonetized. So please go to Patreon. Please go to rockfin.com. The scroll is below. Venmo. There's a lot of ways to support what we're doing because this is the people's channel. I cannot do this show without you. So thank you for letting me follow the money, connect the dots, and get the truth. Julian Assange is a threat to America's power. And we're not a democracy if we're locking up journalists for calling out our war crimes. We're not a democracy. We're a kleptocracy run by oligarchs. And you guys know that. That's why you watch this show. I'm not chasing right-wing clicks to pay for my BMWs and my $1 million houses. I give you guys the truth because that's who I am. Shave your knuckles for justice. Boom. Hey, everybody. Thanks for watching. We are still in our 9th month of demonetization from YouTube. So support what we're doing at patreon.com/GrahamElwood or rockfin.com/GrahamElwood, which is a blockchain cryptocurrency platform. It's free to sign up, and there's a premium level at $10 a month. And for that, you get everybody on the platform's premium content. Myself, Lee Camp, Ron Placone, Jimmy Dore, Whitney Webb, Kim Iverson, Abby Martin, and many, many others. You can also support what we're doing at Venmo at Graham-Elwood, and go to GrahamElwood.com. We have a PayPal button and a P.O. box. I also have crypto wallets, which are all in the show notes. Thanks for supporting what we do.